Welcome everybody, Derek Sue from the Journey Home. I'm here today in the 77th Avenue Rangers micro community. Last night we had a very sad event happen, something that happens more commonly than you might think in homeless camps. And unfortunately, we found one of our residents deceased. We hadn't seen him for about a day and a half, and then also one of his relatives came down here to let us know that he hadn't been to work, and his work was calling and asking where he was. So we checked on him last night and found him deceased. And so unfortunately, the streets have claimed another victim from a homeless camp. And this is almost too common nowadays here in any homeless camp. No matter where you go in America, there's deaths. And in the winters, like what we're having and experiencing right now, the night that we suspect he passed away, it was 39 degrees out. 39 degrees was the temperature on the morning that we believe that he passed away. So the cold could have been a factor, or I'm pretty sure it was a factor. Also, Joe had some issues with epilepsy. He also had a broken neck from a fall. And so Joe worked. Joe worked. He was one of our working homeless, and he worked for FedEx. So we're going to miss Joe. Joe had a lot of friends. There's a lot of sadness going on in the camp right now as we all absorb what has happened to us. And this happens, like I said, way too often. And the sad part is that the cities and the leaders of those cities don't recognize this. They really don't. They don't keep any records. They don't track how many deaths are in a year in the homeless camps. They track nothing. Like we're just garbage. They treat us like garbage. Now, Oakland is on a tear to shut down homeless camps in the coming year. Right now, East 12th and 23rd is being shut down. There's other local encampments that are on the list that I'm aware of that are being shut down in the new year. I can't mention them because then that would be giving them advance notice, so I can't do that. In fact, my camp is now up for closure, so we're at risk right now. And so there's a lot of different things. Oakland is not friendly to the homeless people. In fact, Libby, you told me that you wanted to do a sit down. You haven't gotten back in touch with me. You know who I am. You know we can fix this. And so with the poor management that's here in the Bay Area, not only Oakland, but San Francisco too, San Jose, they all have bad leadership. They have no new ideas on how to fix the homeless crisis. And so I have already put forth several viable ideas. These are ideas that are not crazy. These are ideas and things that work in other parts of the world. As you know, I worked for the DOD. I had projects where I did these exact same things overseas. And so this needs to be really looked at seriously to help the folks that living out on the streets that are vulnerable. I mean, Oakland says that there's about 3,000 or 4,000, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people here in Oakland sleeping on the streets. No, there's way more than that. There are a lot of camps that don't get counted. Last year, my camp wasn't counted. I know that for a fact because nobody came down here in the annual count. There was nobody here, and we had 16 people at that time. So I know that Oakland's numbers are incorrect, as well as San Francisco's. Now think about this. San Francisco spends $365 million a year. That is their homeless budget. But yet there are still 8,000 people on the streets of San Francisco on any given night. Now, how sad is that? People like Joe end up victims of their mismanagement. Oaklanders have been dying out here on the streets because of Oakland's mismanagement. In fact, we haven't had any kind of real structured management since Jerry Brown. And right now, Libby is taking credit for Jerry Brown's work, because she has not done what is coming online in the new year. This was part of Jerry Brown's project when he was in office. So anyway, that's what's going on. There's a lot of sadness in our camp today as we mourn the loss of Joe Pleasants. He was a good friend. He had been in this camp, in this community for almost 2 years, but he was part of the working homeless, not homeless and not working. He was working. So thank you for your attention, and folks, stay tuned, because there's some exciting things I'm going to be announcing in the coming months. Thank you, and stay tuned.